Everybody, good morning. It is Monday, August 5th, 2024. Don't want to wear out my welcome with you guys on these live streams, but I wanted to just jump on here this morning following up after yesterday afternoon show where we were discussing the collapse, the futures collapse for U.S. futures and the Asia markets being down substantially, as well as the cryptocurrencies, gold and silver. I just wanted to jump on quickly here. I do have my morning coffee. It is 6:35, 6:36 here, West Coast time. Let's talk about this. The United States, the U.S. markets are literally, to say they're under pressure is an understatement. As of right now, the Dow Jones is down about 1,200 points. The S&P 500 is down 216 points, and the Nasdaq is down 915 points. That's 3% for the Dow, about almost 4% for the S&P 500, and that is over 5% for the Nasdaq. The futures were even down further at about 5:30 this morning. So this is accelerating. They're trying hard to keep the genie in the bottle. We had saw a story on CNBC, or a headline just a few minutes ago, says Chicago Fed President Goolsbee says if economy deteriorates, the Fed will fix it. So are we going to see the Fed march out here today and make an emergency cut to stem the panic? Look at the volatility index, the VIX. The VIX index was, or I checked earlier, it was skyrocketing. VIX right now is at $51.11. It's up 118.5% right now. It was up 180% about an hour ago. So stocks are cratering. The Asia markets closed down. Japan closed down over 12% last night. Cryptocurrencies, guys, right now are really getting beat up. Bitcoin is down $7,440. That's about 12.5%. Ethereum is down 16% or $442. Good morning. Thanks for being here, guys. I hope you can hear me. Jelaine, I'm feeling a little scared today, and having you come on is comforting. I don't think this is anything that any of us didn't expect. And let me just shift gears. Some might say, well, this doesn't really affect me because I'm not in the stock market. Well, let me share something with you. If you are a school teacher, if you are a government worker, if you have any kind of retirement plan or pension, uh, these are definitely invested in the stock market. All right, and usually they're set so if the market goes up, these retirement plans gain value. If the market goes down, they lose value. Go back and do some research. What happened in 2008 when the market crashed and how much people got wiped out of their 401ks and their pension plans. Okay. Again, not to create panic. There's not much that you can do about it. It's just that you have to understand the mechanism of what's happening. So look, you already have Warden's Jeremy Siegel says Fed needs to make an emergency rate cut. You already have these talking heads out saying Fed has to do something. Just like they did back in '08. Remember Jim Cramer pounding the desk and saying the Fed knows nothing? What is this going to mean? I'm getting ahead of myself a bit here, but if we start seeing rate cuts, emergency rate cuts to stem the tide here, number one, that is Maryland English. Thank you. I appreciate you. Old Roscoe, real problems if the derivatives start to unwind, for sure. By Carolyn Dahl, greetings from Ontario, Canada. How you doing? I appreciate you being here. Michelle Law, 5x5. Good morning from Iowa. Good morning from Ohio, Chuck. Hi, Chuck. So, what is this? What happens? Well, number one, it's going to reverse everything the Fed's been doing over the past couple of years to quote unquote solve the inflation problem, which we were all told was transitory. Remember that? So, if there are aggressive cuts made to stop this sell-off, that is going to be inflationary in nature. They're working on getting this market back. It's down now about 1,042. So you're going to see this throughout the day. They're going to do everything they can to stop people from liquidating positions. Some might be forced to if they're getting margin calls right now. If you guys are on margin, you're not hedged to the downside in the market. Again, I'm not a market expert. I'm not lecturing anybody, but hopefully those were precautions that you put in place ahead of time, not now. We have a lot of volatility. Dow's back down 1,107 points. NASDAQ down 800 points. So 56 people in the room. I know it's early. Let's talk about gold and silver. Look, gold and silver are not immune right now. I'm Kitco. I'm showing gold down 50, almost $54 an ounce. I'm showing silver down $1.48. In terms of percentages, that's 2.2% for gold and over 5% for silver. We've discussed this before. You're always going to have a liquidation initially of the metals to. Hi, Attila. How are you? Good morning. Um, Nicole White, good morning from Nova Scotia. Hi, Nicole. I think you sent me a text saying you missed yesterday's broadcast, but then we're back talking about basically the same thing, but now in real time. So rather than me coming out this evening and telling you what transpired today and giving you a summary of past events, I thought it'd be more, let's say, helpful, more important for us to have this discussion live as this is really unfolding. But look, they're going to do everything they can to bolster sentiment and to prevent this from continuing to get worse. What I was saying about the metals is they're liquid. Even it's paper metals, paper gold and paper silver get sold. They get liquidated to cover losses in other stock positions to fund margin calls. And I guarantee that's what's happening now. Cryptos, again, guys, if you're a crypto weigh in, let me know. The sell-off in cryptos, is that also to cover margin calls? What is the take as it relates to cryptos? It's an animal I'm really not familiar with. I have a crypto position. I'm not running to sell it right now. I wasn't going to actually think about buying any more crypto today, but I'm sure a lot of you will say it's a great time to buy. I'm sure a lot of people in the stock market are going to say it's a great time to buy if you have dry powder. Attila says Bitcoin always follows the market down. Okay. Well, everything is following the market down right now. The 10-year yield, last I checked, it was down 11 basis points. Let me look right now. It's down 7 basis points. Okay. Oil's down 1.31% at $72 a barrel. I would have expected oil to really jump yesterday and last night with this threat of let's say, a step up in the aggression between Israel and Iran. Iran has been threatening an immediate attack or imminent attack on Israel. And so let's see how that develops. So many things are happening, culminating all at once, that you just wonder how they can keep the lid on this and stem the flow of panic. And maybe they're going to be able to do it. Maybe these guys like the Siegels and the Chicago Fed president are going to, let's say, calm the fear and calm the market. But again, it's always, oh, don't worry, the Fed will step in. And we all know this. It's such an abuse of the world reserve currency and the money printing powers, if you will, because this is always what happens. The fallback is, well, the Fed just has a blank check that it can write to just create trillions of more dollars out of thin air to bolster anything that starts to go down. Any market that is trying to seek fair value again on its own, it gets propped back up. If that does happen, again, I'm not giving you financial advice here, but if we see this go down that road and we see rate cuts, we see more QE getting pumped in the system, which I think is obviously, I think it has to probably happen. Watch what's going to happen to the price of your silver and your gold. Again, not financial advice, not trading advice. I just, all this is the roosters are going to come home or starting to come home to roost, I think. And again, how long can they kick the can down the road? I'm not going to stay on too long today. So I've got to get over to the office. I have meetings and some stuff I've got to deal with today with clients. But we have the Dow down 1,100 points. The European indexes are also down, about 2.5 to 3%. Again, Asia, the Nikkei closed down 12.4%. Imagine if we had a 12% loss on the U.S. markets. Right now, the loss on the U.S. market is 2.75% on the Dow. Imagine if that loss was 10 or 12%, what that would translate to in an actual point drop in the markets. Is it possible? I mean, sure. Is it possible today? I mean, they're going to do everything they can to avert, a bigger downside, right? They don't want people leaving the market. They want everybody to have their money in the markets and everybody to have the warm and fuzzies and believe that nothing really bad can happen here in America because we have the printing press, right? We've got the blank check that can be completed or filled out or cashed for any amount that we need it to be cashed for. Pistol Pete, terrible. Danuta, God bless you all and keep praying. Appreciate you guys being here. It's 70 people in the room. Let me share with you a story that was on Zero Hedge this morning that kind of summarizes, I think, well, what we're seeing happening. And then I'll sign off for the day. This is from Zero Hedge, 5:17 a.m., about an hour and 20 minutes ago. It says, good morning and welcome to a global market meltdown sparked by last week's catastrophic Bank of Japan BOJ decision to hike rates by 0.15 basis points, which in turn, it says, crushed the 20 trillion yen carry trade, sent the yen exploding higher and wiping out trillions in highly levered investments, leading to a cascade of selling and forced liquidations, which has resulted in a historic market crash in Japan and a rout everywhere else. Again, you guys can comment. I don't know how Dave Giannotti, Dow will be up at close. PPT will intervene. Seen this before since '08. But look, I wouldn't be surprised. Are they going to get it green today? That would be a pretty substantial move. What does that do for people's sentiment in terms of their belief system in the solidity of these markets or lack thereof? But look at the plunge protection team is alive and well. We know that. I wouldn't be surprised to see this loss cut in half. If they get this thing green today, either the Dow, the S&P, or the NASDAQ, that would even be a surprise to me, and nothing surprises me. But back to this issue of the Japan, the carry trade and all that. That is a bit beyond my pay grade. My take is that may have been a factor, but don't forget, we had terrible U.S. economic data that was released on Friday relative to the unemployment rate, relative to the jobs report and the unemployment picture in this country. And then we also have this Iran and Israel situation flaring up. So you have a culmination of events. The Japan, the issue with the yen could have also been a contributing factor to that. Susan Lawrence, thank you for coming on from Ohio. No problem, Susan. Good morning. So again, this article says it was primarily because of this Bank of Japan decision to raise their rates. It says in the U.S. futures are sharply lower with tech plunging as the global it says byproduct of the carry trade is sold and small caps are reshorted. NASDAQ 100 set for biggest opening drop in more than 4 years. As investors brace for days of volatility amid rising concerns over a slowing U.S. economy and overheated gains in the tech sector. It says NASDAQ dropped into correction territory Friday as investors freaked out over elevated valuations and the high cash outlay for investments in artificial intelligence. Tell me, when's the last time the valuations weren't elevated, guys? It doesn't matter. It's greed. It drives the markets. Everybody wants, their yield. Pistol Pete, Schwab won't let me into my account. Schwab people, if anybody else has Schwab accounts, let us hear from you. We always see this, right? Oh, we had an unexpected outage, or we're just having some technical difficulties. They don't want you liquidating positions. Am I telling you to do that? Absolutely not. I'm not giving you financial advice, trading advice. I'm not a stockbroker. Look, if you're in a 401k or your pension, you don't really have any options. You can't go and just sell unless you're going to, unless you want to take substantial penalties and have substantial potential tax burdens. So look, a lot of people are stuck. What are you going to do? Kelly Norwell, you are 100% 100% spot on. Thanks for this live session. Hi, Kelly. No problem. Oh, radio dude, AM. Who would ever thought the networks have no credibility, but one guy we trust is where we turn. Um, Buy some gold, Pistol Pete says. Again, gold's down right now. But when the Fed, when, not if, when the Fed starts to cut rates, and when the Fed starts to go back to quantitative easing, which I believe is going to happen, I think you're going to see a major upswing in those other asset classes, gold and silver. Um, Let me continue with this article. Meanwhile, S&P futures, SP 500 futures were down 0.3%, while those tracking the Dow declined 1.6%. We're talking about futures about an hour and a half ago. We now know what's happening. All right, we know that the markets are down pretty substantially. Dow right now is down. Okay, it's down 941 points. So they're going to do everything they can, guys. You got to understand the game, all right? But I don't want anybody to lose here. I don't want anybody to suffer a loss to their pensions, their 401ks. It's not good. We work hard. You guys work hard to contribute to those plans so that down the road, you maybe can have some peace of mind and you can actually stop the 9 to 5 rat race and retire. And so, I pray for everybody that this does not get worse. I would say that we should all plan for it to get worse. What will happen today with the Fed? Look, the Fed could just be sitting back and saying it's not bad enough yet. We're not going to do anything yet. We're not going to create, because would that create a panic? That can have let's say, an adverse consequence if the Federal Reserve were to come out right now and say, "Oh, Roscoe, VIX up 122%." It was up 180% this morning at 5 a.m. when I was looking at it. Attila, has anyone seen Joe Biden? Yeah, good. Okay, Lewis E. Schwab here can't log in either. Okay, guys, Schwab evidently is having some unexpected technical difficulties. That's, we talk about, I'm getting a bit sidetracked. We discuss that a lot. Is your wealth truly your wealth, or is it digits on a screen? Yes, you own shares of stock in, let's say, company X, Y, and Z. But if you need to be able to have access to a platform like your online accounts through Schwab or whatever your preferred investment house is, and you can't log in, you can't buy, you can't sell, you can't trade, you can't cover losses, you can't cut losses. So we go back to, do you have some physical assets in your possession that would, let's say, provide liquidity in the event of a prolonged situation like this, or a prolonged sell-off, or a prolonged inability for you to access your trading accounts? Again, we say when something happens, everyone's going to run for the exit door at the same time, and guess what? Not everyone's going to be able to fit through the door. So things will happen. Do you have some cash available to you? Do you have some physical metals or something that you can, let's say, have access to? I think we're seeing this play out in real time. All right. Schwab account. A lot of people have Schwab trading accounts. I believe I even have one I haven't used for a long time, but it's scary times, guys. So let's just pay attention to what's going on. The Dow's down. They've got down to about 952 now. NASDAQ's down 693. I think you all are correct, and you're very astute with your comments that we've seen this before. Manrino this morning was briefly out saying, this is basically not a big deal, and that this is what always happens, and then you see the market go straight back up. And I guess if you look back at history, that's eventually what does happen. But what is the period of time that it takes to recover the losses? Each and every one of us, and all of you, are working hard every single day. If you're contributing to a retirement account or a 401k, says Danusha says, just check, cannot log into Fidelity. All right, so is Fidelity also having problems? Schwab is having problems. PsyOps, JB always says, if you can't hold it, you don't own it. There's a lot to be said for that. You can't have all your eggs in one basket, but as part of just being prepared and try to make smart financial decisions with whatever assets you're able to have, there's a lot of let's say, truth to that. Okay, you have an ounce of silver or an ounce of gold that has value, is immediately liquid. If you can't log into an account, correct, no Schwab radio, dude, no Schwab access. Wandering Doc, I'm 100% in cash, flowing real estate in cash. Haven't been in any equity since I really retired a few years ago, age 36. Wow, it's nice. Good job, Wandering Doc. Uh, I mean, there's a lot to be said for being in cash. Let me check in with you. Where's the dollar index right now? The dollar was down substantially. Dollar index is down 78 cents at 102 dollars and 37 cents for the U.S. index. If the Fed comes out with an emergency cut or any kind of jawboning about that, you're going to see the dollar tank a lot further. Okay, you're going to see that is going to weaken the dollar, further weaken the purchasing power of those greenbacks in your wallet or in your bank account. Psyops, hope you and Jamie do a live soon. I talked to him. I said yesterday afternoon he was on his way out to dinner. I told him to call over and we would put him on speaker and kick this around. But he had some plans, so he couldn't join last night. But we'll start doing that again. He's been out here a lot longer than me. Obviously, sharing with you guys kind of what you should be doing and getting you to pay attention to lots of things. I've known him before he started his channel. And so the same things he shares with you, we discuss on a regular basis. All right. So we'll do that. We'll get a collab together. I've been out of the country. By the way, I'm very glad I'm back on U.S. soil this situation that's unfolding here with the markets. I would be really concerned, a bit fearful, trepidatious if I was overseas right now in a foreign country while these markets were melting down, because there are other consequences. The other things happen, right? People start to lose it. You have people that think that the market's only going to go in one direction and that the sky's never going to fall. They don't prepare for hard times. They don't prepare for rough patches. They have everything invested, in the market where they make money only if it goes up. But again, if you're all in Bitcoin this morning, today, right now, you're hurting. If you're all in, Bitcoin's down 12.5%, Ethereum's down 15.5%, XRP's down 13%. Again, if you're all in crypto, you're getting hit today. If you're all in gold and silver, same thing. So everything is getting it's a pan sell off across the board, markets across the world. I am interested to see, obviously, if there's going to be a Fed reaction. I'm also very, very interested to see what is going to happen with M. New to your channel, appreciate your insight. Appreciate you being here. Thank you. Gary Watt, evening from Australia. Hi, Gary. Oh, Roscoe, what will we buy with the coming stimmy checks? Yeah, I mean, this is going to go back to the same playbook that it always has. You have a run up, you've got this collapse. I don't know even where fair value is. How do we know how far the markets could drop? I mean, there are no metrics anymore for this stuff, right? That you just be able to rely on determining whether a stock, for example, was fairly valued. How about metals? We know metals are suppressed. The paper price of metals, gold and silver, are suppressed. So, what's the real value of the gold and silver? I would argue that it's much higher than the paper price reflects. How about stocks? Is the real value of stocks much less than the paper price reflects? Again, give me your comments. I don't Kent Reader. Good morning, Kent. Gary Naples. Hello from hard-hitting New Britain. Keep up the good work. Yeah, let's talk about again, I'm going long here, but let's talk about Warren Buffett. So I was sharing that a few minutes ago before I jumped on the live stream here with my wife as we we're having coffee. Buffett has been liquidating Bank of America positions. And last week, we came to learn late last week that he sold off a substantial portion of his Apple holdings. So look, we discuss, again, the club, and we're not in it. How, what do these guys know ahead of time? Was that just because he's the Oracle of Omaha, and it was fortuitous that he happened to sell these positions before they collapsed? Let me tell you where Apple is right now. Apple stock is down almost 5%. It's at $209.24. Okay, Amazon's down $160. Down. It's at $160. It's down almost 5%. Nvidia is $100.27, even down 6.5%. So these stocks that had all these run-ups are making substantial moves to the downside. Woke Disney is at $88.41, down 1%. But these are stocks. Disney was not too long ago was well over 100. Okay, so let me give you the update on the VIX. VIX is at $42.87. It's up 83%. So they are calming. They behind the scenes are calming some jitters. Let's see where this goes. Nico Oliveira. Sorry about your last name. Anybody here have an opinion on AMTV channel? Is AMTV? Is AMTV Chris Green? Is that Chris Green? AMTV. I can't remember if that was Chris or not. If it is, I was watching him. I used to watch him all the time when he was broadcasting from Arizona. Then he moved to Hawaii. Is AMTV Chris? Is that? I think it is. Then he moved to Hawaii. I think he moved to Maui during the pandemic and started this island project or something. And I kind of stopped watching the videos. But he was one of those. I think hard hitting in your face was his motto all the time. Just always watch him. I liked it when he got angry and pissed off, and he was one of the guys I watched many years ago. So I don't know now. I don't. It became for me less relevant to me. I just stopped watching the channel. Nothing against Chris Green. But he's a big crypto guy. He's a big crypto. I think his project, the Maui project or the island project it was tied in with cryptocurrency. Roger, good morning. Let's see where we're at. We had 136 people in the room. Markets are still under a lot of pressure right now. The 10-year is under a lot of pressure. It's down. Well, I'll tell you, they're really who in the world is buying up the amount of debt that it takes to drive the 10-year. It's only down not just quite 2 basis points right now. An hour ago, guys, it was down 11 basis points. Do you know? Again, uh, I'm not speaking at you. I don't. I know it's a massive amount of debt buying that someone's got to be in there. Something has to be in there buying up the debt to drive the yields, um, to curb the flow of that, to bring that yield from down 10 basis points and bring it back up. It's almost a 3.8%. So again, I know I'm using the wrong verbiage here, but you guys understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Um, the debt has to be purchased, right? I don't know. Comment below, guys. Get your oil stocks now. I mean, look, if this thing in Iran gets teed up in the next couple of days, oil's going to probably reverse. Again, not trading advice, but yeah, the oil is going to have to be a major beneficiary of that. Not for a good reason, but it will. All right. I will let you guys go. That is where we're at for today. 143 people in the room. Thank you for being here. Till if you're debt free, you're worry free. Well, I mean, a lot of people can be debt free. I agree with that fundamentally. But you can also be debt free and have a whole bunch of your assets tied up in the stock market or 401ks or pension plans that, as these markets fall precipitously, that you end up losing a lot of what you work so hard to amass in terms of your wealth strategy. So all I'm saying is keep that in mind. Jeremy, thumbs up. Thanks. I'm in silhouette here because I have I have my shutters open behind me. I can shut those real quick. That help? Does that? Okay, that's a little better. Have a good day. Eat healthy. Yeah, old Roscoe. I got yep. Watch the diet. I was got a little bit off the game plan when I was over in Italy last week, and well, Italy and France for basically 3 weeks. So back on track. Got the workouts in all weekend. Getting the hydration going. So please, everybody, do that as well. Get your steps in today to start the week strong. Hopefully, this sell off doesn't get too much worse. But look at the markets have to they have to find their way with fair value. There has to be a reversion to the mean and to fair value with all these assets. It has to happen. Otherwise, there is no benchmark. All right. There's no level playing field. And Marcus, you're too early going back to bed. I understand. Well, I'm going to finish my coffee and go over to the office, get my day going. I have a workout this evening planned. So we're doing a couple of live streams. I'll probably try to do a video tonight and then just summarize what ended up happening with the day, give you guys my perspective. I'm showing gold down $52, silver down $1.44. The metals are coming back a little bit. Give you a final update on cryptocurrencies. Everything is starting to come back a little bit. Let's see. A lot of times you'll see this knee-jerk reaction a bit higher after a big sell-off, and then as the day continues, it just slides because everybody realizes, well, there's no real good news that should be contributing to a reversal of the losses. So let's see what happens. Dow's down 925. Bitcoin's down under 10%. So they're getting the cryptos back a little bit too. So let's see if everybody's in buying the dip. There will be a time when buying the dip, as I share with you in this book that I am reading, there will be a time when buying the dip, if you read this book, you understand what I'm talking about, was a failed strategy. For like 3 years, buying the dip, whether it was real estate, whether it was stocks, it was a failed strategy. People lost fortunes thinking that here's the bottom. How do you time the bottom? It's anybody's, it's very, very difficult. Matt, what's your favorite city? Wandering Doc, what was your favorite city in Europe that you visited? From this trip, my favorite city was Rome. We were in Paris. We were in Venice. We were in Florence and Rome. I enjoyed Rome, hands down for me. Seeing those ruins and how they build structures just right around this stuff. The city came up around all these ruins. I'll tell you, it's pretty awe-inspiring. It was to me. I enjoyed going and seeing the Vatican. So that was the city I enjoyed the most of those three cities. Let's see what else. Jeremy, thumbs up. Jeremy, get your oil stock share. We discussed that. So let's see. Give you final on cryptos. Again, crypto's down about 10%. Excuse me, Bitcoin 10%, Ethereum 13.5%. Ethereum's not weathering quite as well right now. So that is where we are at. I'm going to get to work. Thank you all for being here. Have a great start to your Monday. Talk to you later on today. Bye.